Good evening, this is Kuro. Got a game for you, Tier 10 in my Minotaur, going over the matchmaking, threats to my ship, the Richtofen, all the battleships, basically all the cruisers, and 1DD matchmaking. And I am running a smoke build on my Minotaur. That's telling me that spotting potentially can be an issue this game. When you've only got 1DD, especially with a mode like Epicenter where you're usually going to lose 1 DD just tying up the middle cap. It can be it can get kind of rough trying to get the vision that you need to be able to sit in your smoke and farm as much as you would like to. So what I'm looking to do here, I am looking to push out and try to provide the vision in the south for my team. Fortunately I do have a Talon, so I do have some radar in my area. We do have a CV in the game, which I might be able to get some brief periods with air spotting from the CV. But I think that a lot of this might fall down on me to be driving around and acting like a really fat destroyer for my team. So as I'm sailing out here, really, if you look, I'm still, if you've watched my DD videos on this, I'm still doing roughly the same thing that I try to do with my DDs by breaking this plane right here along these islands to spot everything back here. It's just because I'm in a cruiser that's that's got so much more detection. Look at where my detection circle is as opposed to the DDs. My detection circle's right up there on the edge. I am throwing a couple sets of torps out here just on the offhand chance that the enemy DD did come down here to the south. I might be able to time him with those torps and catch him. So we do get vision on a Yamato. And if you look, and that's exactly what I was going to say, in the epicenter, the cap had frozen, indicating to me that something had stepped on the cap, which would most likely be the enemy Z-52. And that means that I can push in here a little more aggressive because I outspot most things on the enemy team. So what I'm looking to do is I've got battleships back here. I've got battleships here. My ship only shoots AP, so it doesn't make any sense for me to just be plinking along at broadside ships or at bow-on ships. Really what I want to do is find get some angles with crossfire where I can be like a persistent base of fire that can pound on an enemy ship and try to force them to angle at me, but at the same time have battleships that are able to fire right back at them, that if they show them broadside they're going to get nuked. Basically try to get these ships into a lose-lose situation. Here I'm starting to smoke up. I'm thinking that this Yamato in particular is close enough that we might be able to get some self-spotting in here with the battleships. I am gonna pop my hydro just as insurance in case something is out there with torps. You don't want to die early. And if you look, what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to prioritize targets that are turning out, so I get the maximum amount of damage here, just like you would do with ships that aren't on fire. You would prioritize them. With this ship, you want to prioritize ships that are broadside because you can do the highest amount of DPM to that ship at that moment in time. And got some big hits going in on this Yamato. At the same time, you just got that consistent DPM, drip, 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 and I'm gonna try to stick with this Yamato a bit because he is low HP. Want to see if we can get an early kill on this Yamato, because, you know, just like the Des Moines video that I did a minute ago, once you clear these battleships out, it really starts to open up a lot more of the map to you roaming around and being useful. So you can see I'm really just raining hell down, just trying to keep all the shots into the superstructure, eventually get the kill, and not gonna hang around anymore for the smoke, just gonna get moving because the Vladivostok is just running off. Gonna take some shots just as I'm moving out. But if you look at the mini-map, it's telling the story that there's nothing really to fight down here. So I'm gonna just cut to the chase, and I'm just gonna push right into these islands here and start trying to set up, you know, positions where I can start dominating things that are in the middle of the cap, and really start applying pressure to the enemy team from these island positions. The enemy team is gone heavy in the north, so they're doing basically the same thing. They're trying to push our team south and at the same time try to secure the epicenter from the north. Unfortunately, we lose our Yu Yang to the enemy Minotaur. Minotaur's in the middle is it's really nasty for a DD to try to deal with. There's just Minotaurs have a lot of things going for them to shoot up DDs, and can be real rough to try to pick that fight. Here I'm looking at the Minotaur, looking to see if I can set an ambush. Unfortunately, I don't have Hydro right now. Everybody should know that the Minotaur has torped that channel. So I was able to kill steal that like a pro. There's all the torps. Just throwing some shots in here. See what I can do with this Vladivostok. Again, he's angled away, so I'm not going to do nearly as much DPM as I normally would. Now I know that Z-52 is around here spotting me. Just gonna throw some torps out here on this this Massachusetts, just trying to protect my flank. CV does spot the Z-52, and I'm just gonna go to town really quickly. I do end up eating a torp here, not the end of the world. But I am going to go ahead and drop smoke. This Massachusetts knows I'm right here. I see the turn in. I'm just going to start laying out these torpedoes. Now what I'm looking for to see if this guy overturns, and you can see he shoots. As soon as he shot, it's on, because at this HP I can kill him just with my guns. My torps are gonna miss anyway. You see I'm switching to the bow. Watch that damage number just rack up. Z-52 got spotted briefly again. Now I do have a Hydro up, and I am contemplating on being a little reckless. I really would like to get this DD if it's possible, and I know I'm close to getting him with my Hydro. I know this smoke screen's gonna shield me from the Vladivostok, so that's why I'm thinking that I can pull this off, and boom, there he is. Z-52 hydros me. He's the only thing spotting me, but it's not gonna be for long with this ship. Broadside DD, he's gone. Now the Hindenburg did turn back in and did get me detected, so I'm just popping my super heal right now. I know I'm gonna take some damage. Just trying to stay angled, let myself go dark. I know there's still gonna be some shots coming in. But we were able to assassinate that DD, and now I'm gonna try to slip out of here and get away before anything bad can happen to me. Now I do have a smoke coming up, so I'm getting set up in a position where I think that it might be useful. See some battleships starting to come around the corner. Gonna go on ahead and drop my smoke. It can be really dangerous smoking like that where you're spotted, because this ship slows down very slowly, very methodically. So ideally you want to already be slowed down before you smoke. That one turned into, I wanted to get a little bit further south to open up these angles and really work these areas before smoking up. It just wasn't happening with the position with the enemy battleships. So, you know, sometimes, you know, it kind of is what it is situation. Unfortunately, my torps just run out on the Azumo. Gonna reverse my guns, get them switched around. Also get a fresh rack of torps on the boat. But I'm thinking that I'm gonna have to start bailing out of here soon. Still got Hydra that's protecting me. Switching to the Vladivostok again. He's showing the most amount of broadside to me, but now he's turning right back in. So at this point, I'm deciding, you know what, I need to reposition, because this really isn't working. Now the Azumo's showing a little bit more angle. Now I make a misplay here because this Amalfi's right on my broadside. He should be my priority target. And if I hadn't missed that cue, you know, I would be a lot better off. I would have been able to pull off this ambush on the Amalfi and likely kill him with my DPM and then go back to the Azumo. Trying to rep through it, but other things are going to be able to shoot me. I do pick up my Kraken there, but unfortunately this one's going to be a loss. My team's just kind of got melted in the middle of the cap. They didn't know how to get out of that situation, and that can be one of the downfalls if a team, you know, rushes in and is able to secure the entire epicenter or the two inner caps, and they've got most of their ships inside that circle, and the enemy is around the outside of the epicenter. A lot of times that will stack up into a loss, because all of your ships in here are in basically one big shooting gallery for all the enemy around them, and that's exactly how this game played out. I ended up doing a good bit of damage. 5 kills is always nice, but definitely not enough. So this is just one of those lessons when you're playing Epicenter. These caps are not everything. It really comes down to, in most games, in my opinion, who's holding the map control around the flanks. Because if you get crossfire shots in through this epicenter, you can rack up an extreme amount of damage on the enemy team and make it completely impossible for them to defend themselves if they're trying to take these capture points. So that's one of the reasons why I'm trying to get my ship positioned at an angle to my battleships, just like I do with if I'm playing battleships. I don't want to be right next to my buddy battleship. I want to be, several grid squares away if possible, so we get some crossing in our fire, so we both get we will tend to get better shots, both of us, at enemy ships, because those ships are not going to really know how to angle to us, and they're going to end up trying to wiggle back and forth, angling at us, and if one of us holds our shot, it's basically a lose-lose situation for the target, because if you angle at this guy, well, the next shot coming through from the other guy's gonna wreck you. Same thing with the Minotaur. Um, I do think that I probably should have bailed on that smoke a little sooner. Um, Hindsight, I knew that we needed damage. It's just I wasn't getting the angles that I needed to really do effective amounts of damage to that Izumo. Um, and so in hindsight, even though I need to do damage, it is probably better for me to just to bail out of there after killing the Z-52, just because it is such an exposed position there. So this one's going to end on points because we can't kill CVs in this game. If you guys have any questions or comments, let me know. Hope you guys are having a good night. As always, invites for the Discord, the build and everything are in the video description. And I will talk to you guys later. Have a good night.